Hey people, in this episode I would like to give you a very valuable tip which unfortunately even many advanced drummers do not know and which will help you to be able to play the drums much more precisely and as a result almost automatically much faster. And that has several elements. So be sure to watch this video until the end. The basic tip is we should be able to hear, count and play the offbeat individually in everything we play. Let me explain what I mean by that. Many drummers play with their strong hand or strong foot leading and their weak limb following. So right-handed people play 16th notes starting with the right hand, and then the left hand plays the E's and A's, so one E and A and so on. And 16th are often so fast that we can't help but have one hand leading and the other hand following because we can't control the notes individually anymore. And this is good, feeling the music in bigger units than the single notes. But this then leads to the fact that our stronger hand often plays louder and above all, the weak hand does not play quite as precisely because the strong hand knows exactly where it belongs and the second hand just tries to play into the gaps, just follow us. It's very hard to drop the leading hand and play only with the second strongest hand. But that's exactly what we should train, because that's how we train our hearing, the awareness and precision of our most important tool as musicians, our ears. And that is very important because, and we have to understand this, we can only play as fast as we can hear. And there's a nice trick you can try. Sit down. Close your eyes. Imagine you have sticks in your hands. Imagine that really vividly, tangible. And then practice something you're working on at the moment and actually hear it. See, feel, hear, taste it and play this in your head as fast as you can. But only as fast as you can really see, hear and feel everything. Try it now. If you have tried it now, you'll have noticed that you couldn't play faster, or at least much faster, in your head than in reality. And that's because we can only play as fast as we can hear or imagine hearing something. The sound that we can still resolve, that our perception can record, is the limiting factor. And that's why we should consciously train our hearing to resolve even finer. Here is the first exercise how you can practice that. Set your metronome to a medium or slow tempo and play a single stroke roll. So just alternating right and left, and your strong hand plays together with the metronome. If we play 16th notes, let's imagine the strong hand is playing the 8th notes exactly always together with the metronome. And my weaker hand, my left hand, plays between those strokes, and then you just mute the right hand for a bar, maybe air drum or just stop playing. This means that the left hand must play alternatingly with the metronome while you continue to count. You can count the quarters or the 8th notes first. If that works, set the metronome to half the tempo so you're now playing to the quarter notes. Then you have to play the offbeat alone for a slightly longer period of time. Counting out loud helps here again, maybe first the 8th notes and then the quarter notes. And then set the metronome again half as fast so that you have the half notes and eventually the whole notes. Here too, you first count the smaller note values, first 8th notes, then quarter notes, then maybe also count only the half notes or even just the whole notes.
3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4,
if that works, you increase the tempo until you get to the limit here where you can barely control it. Remember, we always learn most effectively at the point where something just doesn't work anymore, where we are at the limit of our abilities, where you can just hear and resolve it with your perception. You should practice and push out this limit. And the nice thing is, in my experience, you can train this limit pretty quickly, and that is very valuable. If we work on something we usually don't practice, we can progress quickly and incorporate it into our playing. But it is also true that our hearing improves faster than our technical skills. That's a bit frustrating because we hear the mistakes faster than we can correct them. But at least that way you have high standards, and if you know that, you don't have to beat yourself up about it. The beauty of this exercise is that we focus on the weak hand, which means we also train technique and endurance a bit here. I'm a friend of stacking, so you can add another exercise to the first one. For example, if you practice finger technique, then practice your weak hand with this exercise this way. You practice timing and technique. But we should also turn the whole thing around, because we not only train our ears by playing the offbeat, but also by hearing and counting it. So 2 more exercises for you. First, let's just flip the exercise. Now the right hand plays and the left hand either plays a bar and rests a bar or doesn't play at all. But the metronome now slips back or forward 1/16th note. So it plays the 16th note offbeats. We're used to hearing the metronome on the quarter notes or eighth notes. Now this has shifted and we still have to control the timing. That is not easy. Counting out loud definitely helps here again, so that you realize where the quarter notes are and definitely start very slowly at first. In my experience, you can pick up the tempo pretty quickly once you get it right.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3.
You can again add this concept to your normal practice routine. That is, play something you might be working on anyway, slow it down a bit, and now set the metronome to the offbeat.
3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1.
I would recommend you apply this basic idea to whatever you are playing. For example, if you are playing something triplet based, you could put the metronome on the second or third triplet eighth note, so that the metronome and the quarter notes produce a shuffle rhythm.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2.
Or you play more than a single stroke roll, for example a simple sequence right, left, foot. and then you play just the right hand, then just the left hand, and then just the foot. This single stroke sequence in particular is very popular because you can play it super fast, but often it is played sloppy because it still fits somehow. But if you know exactly where every single beat is in the timing, you can play it much more precisely and it sounds so much more convincing as a result. So you play much more confidently. So we can only play as fast as we can hear and count. If we want to be able to play fast, then that's exactly what we should practice. And if we practice very precisely at the beginning, it will be much easier to play faster later. Through this training, I have increased my speed when playing double bass drum because at some point I realized that I am limited not because I can't do it technically with my feet, it's because I couldn't play my left foot to the click alone. I keep noticing that our hearing is the limiting factor. The tempo at which I can play my double bass drum with my left foot alone to the metronome is also my reliable maximum tempo. The tempo at which I can play it clean and reliable even on a bad day. And that is usually significantly lower than what we can physically play. But what good does it do for us that we can play something very quickly, but it is always sloppy and imprecise? Anyone who's been in the studio or on stage knows that when you're under pressure, you're thrown back to your absolute basics. It's about keeping the basics as reliable as possible and further expanding the area in which we can play what we can play with precision. So, give it a try, no matter what you're working on. I believe this principle can be applied to almost any exercise. You will certainly have to practice a bit more slowly at first, but that's a great chance to practice playing much more precisely, and then later you can play much faster with it. We will go even deeper with this in the next video, where we will look more at the coordination of the different limbs. I will show you a very important basic exercise and some very specific ones to improve your coordination and independence. So be sure to subscribe now if you haven't already, and please also activate the notification bell as not to miss that and any other new videos. Until then, take care and bye bye.